The Jamaica Customs Agency, JCA, has seized dozens of firearms and thousands of rounds of ammunition over the last few years. How were they able to do this? In matters of law enforcement, it is normal to rely on multiple key stakeholders to protect the country's borders. The JCA is, however, tasked with the equitable collection of revenue and protection of Jamaica's borders against illicit imports and the facilitation of trade. But how is the JCA improving its trade facilitation efforts while also protecting the country's borders? Hi, I'm Shaquille Rochester Shorter and welcome to Finance Matters. Today I will be speaking with Mr. Kingsley Henry, Director of Cargo Imaging and Security at the Jamaica Customs Agency, about trade management and border protection. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow the Ministry of Finance on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn to see all the episodes and highlights. Mr. Henry, thanks for joining us today. What is customs duty?
When you think about custom duties, you'll be thinking about all the taxes and fees that are levied on imports and exports, right? But those taxes are broken down into individual pieces. So you'll have the import duty, and that import duty is based on what we call the harmonized commodity coding and description system, commonly called a tariff. So if you go on the customs website and you go on trade and you click on the drop down, you'll see what we call the integrated tariff, and that has all the commodities that you can think about that one may want to import. There is a code that is assigned to it, and you will see the customs import duties and all the other related taxes that are levied against that particular commodity.
So that's customs duty.
So all of those would be comprise custom duties, right?
So in terms of the Jamaica Customs Agency, what waivers are available to the ordinary person?
You know, and that is a conception or misconception that a lot of people have, and they think, and they come to customs and say, customs, what waiver can you grant? But there's a technicality there, because waivers are granted by the Ministry of Finance and the Public Service.
Okay.
But on the flip side of that, on the other side, there are exemptions that are available to various sectors. So the government would have reformed the incentives and waiver structure with the omnibus incentives legislation in 2014. And coming out of that, you have different sectors like the healthcare sector, hotel and tourism, the manufacturing sector, the creative industries, particularly music and film, that can get particular exemptions. And information about that type of exemption is also available on our website, but also available on the Ministry of Finance's website and the various ministries, departments, and agencies that have responsibilities for these areas.
To be clear, I, as an ordinary Jamaican, there are no waivers available for me?
I wish, as an ordinary Jamaican, if your granny or your auntie said you're a barrel, I wish there's some waiver, but there isn't for the ordinary, right? But however, a few years ago, the Ministry and Jamaica Customs, in their wisdom, decided, for example, to introduce a flat rate that is applicable to barrels, because you would understand that the barrel trade is a big part of the importation trade for us here in Jamaica. And so if you are importing a barrel with, let's say, regular grocery items, a few items of clothing, and other small household and personal effects, then the general duty rate that is applied to that will be 6,500 plus an applicable customs processing administrative fee.
So what should Jamaicans bear in mind when they're importing goods?
Well, one of the things we want to say to Jamaicans, there's no need to fear customs, right? Because a lot of persons have fear of customs. There's a fear of paying taxes, there's a fear of the interaction. But your best friend when you're importing is information, right? So, for example, if you are going to be importing something, you want to find out beforehand, do I need a license? Do I need a permit, right? And if I need a license or a permit, one of the things you have to be sure is to get the license and permit before the item arrive in Jamaica.
Okay.
Because if you don't do that, then you'll see a side of customs that you don't like, which is the enforcement side,
Okay.
which is levying fines for breach of the regulations relating to importing items without licenses and permits. And then in addition to that, you want to find out what are the applicable customs duty rate. We spoke about customs duties already. What are those rates? Go onto the website and find out if I'm shipping or importing clothing, what is the duty rate? If I'm doing jewelry, what is the duty rate? If I'm doing toys or something, what is the duty rate? And if you have that information, it makes it easier for you. And if you get invoices when you make your purchases overseas, please supply those invoices to customs. If you're using an agent, a freight forwarding agent, or you're using a custom broker, provide them with the correct information so that they can make an accurate declaration to customs. When that is done, the process is seamless both for our officials, but more so for you, the importing public.
Okay. So quickly tell us about the process for importing a motor vehicle or motorcycle.
And that's a common question as well, right? One of the things that we want to say to the public that there's no shortcut, right? Because sometimes there are people out there who may be advertising that there's a shortcut where, that we can get.
So there's none.
There's no shortcut, right? So to import a automobile or a motorcycle, what is required is that you have to get a import license from the trade board.
Okay.
And you must get that license before the car arrives in Jamaica. But the government also instituted a few years ago that there is a requirement for a pre-inspection that must be done in the country of export.
Okay.
So that pre-inspection has to be done and you have to get that pre-inspection certificate. You also have to get a title or an export certificate from the country where the car is coming from. And very importantly, you cannot clear a car yourself as an individual.
Okay.
You need the services of a licensed customs broker to
Okay.
effect clearance on your behalf. So if you have any doubts and you have any questions, there's information available by the trade board, by customs website, and if you have any doubt, engage a licensed customs broker from early in the process, and they can walk you through and advise you in terms of what you need to ensure that you have a seamless experience when it comes to importing motor vehicles.
All right, so we spoke about bringing in barrels, motor vehicles, etc.
Right.
But what is there implemented at Jamaica Customs Agency to stop or prohibit illegal items from entering the country?
I mean, our CEO, I don't think would be very happy, Mrs. Velmarikis Walker, if I didn't start by saying you'd have seen in the news media recently where Jamaica Customs acquired a boat, Lane Forcer 1, right?
Yes.
And we use that in our maritime surveillance. One of the things that Jamaica Customs has done over the last few years is that we have established in partnership with the JCF marine bases around the island to help us in that maritime surveillance of our unofficial ports.
Okay.
But when it comes to the official ports, one of the things that we place a great emphasis on is the use of risk assessment.
Okay.
So we have systems in place at Jamaica Customs where we're gathering information through intelligence and through our automated system for customs data. And then we are running those information and we're developing risk criteria, we're developing profile, and we're setting those profile in our system so that the persons who are importing or the businesses, the majority of which are compliant, will get an easier way through the system and we can focus on those who are not so compliant. We're also embarking on modernizing our non-intrusive inspection program. Everything that comes into Jamaica.
Explain that to me.
So everything that comes into Jamaica, we have a policy, the national policy that everything must be scanned.
Okay.
So every shipping container, every piece of equipment that comes through, every barrel is scanned, right? And one of the things that we're doing, we are modernizing the scanners. So we are in the process of acquiring, in partnership with the Port Authority of Jamaica, new up-to-date modern X-ray scanners. And what that will do, it allow us as well to focus on the higher risk cargo.
Okay.
And so if we scan and we don't see anything of particular interest, it makes life easier for you as an importer.
And more efficient.
And more efficient because it means that our officers can spend less time doing physical inspection.
Yes.
But we do the non-intrusive inspection, but at the same time, there's a whole lot of physical inspection that takes place at JCA. We're building out a K9 program. We're building out our intelligence and our risk management program. So there's a lot that is being done. And we're getting a lot of support from our international partners. We have a very close working relationship with UK Border Force, with US Customs and Border Protection Agency, with the Canadians. We are getting a lot of assistance to build capacity within our agency to make us more effective in protecting the Jamaican people.
So quickly tell us where Jamaicans can find more information to access the services offered by Customs.
Jamaica Customs, like the Ministry of Finance and the Public Service, is available in the social media space. So we are on Twitter, we are on LinkedIn, we are on Facebook, we are on Instagram. And you can visit Jamaica Customs website at jacustoms.gov.jm. If you have direct questions, you can send those questions to public.relations@jca.gov.jm, and also quick.response, right, at jca.gov.jm. And our numbers are 876-922-5140, and it goes up to 8. And if you use any of those means, you will get to the correct individuals within the agency who will be able to address your query. And if you don't get to us, we have freight forwarding agents, we have custom brokers that work in partnership with us that can provide valuable information.
Thank you for coming on our program and sharing with us the operations of the Jamaica Customs Agency. And thank you for joining us on this episode of Finance Matters. Remember to follow us on social media at MOF Jamaica, and tune in next week as we continue to demystify the economic and fiscal policies and initiatives implemented by the government to empower Jamaicans as we chart a path to Jamaica's economic prosperity.